How do you break up with your teenager's therapist? Well, we're going to talk about that today on Tips on Teens. My name is Kent Toussaint. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I specialize in helping kids, teens, and families to live happier lives. If you or someone you love could really benefit from talking to a family therapist, please contact us here at Teen Therapy Center. Our contact info is in the caption below. Now, let's jump into today's parent-submitted question on Tips on Teens. My son is 14 and he's been with his therapist for 6 months. We liked his therapist at first, but it feels like she is now pitting our son against us, and we are no longer trust her. We'd like to get a new therapist, but our son is upset about the idea because he really likes her. I'm not comfortable working with this therapist. I feel like I'm paying her to make my life harder. How do I handle this without my son hating me? Thank you for your question. It's a very nuanced and delicate situation. A lot of feelings going on, yours and his. And the first and foremost thing I would strongly recommend you do is sit down and talk with this therapist. See if you can repair this mistrust. Was there a misunderstanding? Was there a mistake made? Therapists are humans too. Therapists can make mistakes just like anyone else can. Maybe there's something that you guys can work on and repair and go, okay, this is good because your son is already on board with this therapist. If that doesn't work, if you just really cannot create this working relationship, you may need to move on to another therapist. Because while your son's therapist is his advocate and his emotional support and the person who's in his corner, you need to have an alliance with the therapist too. You need to, not necessarily saying you guys have to agree, but you have to feel that your son's therapist can understand you and take in your considerations. When you have a family session, can balance your emotional needs with your son's emotional needs. That's really important. If that can't happen, you need another therapist. Will your son be upset? Yes. Will he get over it if he finds another therapist he connect with? Possibly. But again, I strongly recommend you really try to work things out with this therapist because you've already invested this time in this therapist. Sorry, there's something in my eye here. Horrible time to get something in your eye. If you just can't work this out with this therapist, you need to move on to someone else and find another ally for your family. Because when you're a child therapist, you're a family therapist. You can't just work with the kid. Parents are integrally involved. And it's really important that not only you have a relationship with this therapist, but your son does as well. Now, this therapist is not going to get your kid to do exactly what you want to do. That's not what they can do. Your therapist for your son is going to help your kid develop more emotional awareness, coping skills, positive relationships, how to repair, how to rebound when he makes mistakes. Those are all the things your therapist is going to help your son do. Your son's therapist is not going to help him just pivot and just meet you where you want him to be. It's not going to happen. No therapist can do that because it's not going to be genuine for your son. There has to be an imperfect middle where you guys all meet. Anyways, I wish there was an easy solution to this. I don't think there is. If you have your own therapist, I encourage you to talk to your therapist about how to work through this as well. It's a tough situation, and it may be bumpy for a little bit. But thank you for your question. Again, my name is Kent Toussaint with Teen Therapy Center and the nonprofit 501c3 organization, Child and Teen Counseling. If you'd like me to answer your question here on Tips on Teens every Wednesday at noon on Facebook Live, email us at tipsonteens@teentherapycenter.com, or you can direct message us. We love your questions. Thank you again, and have a great week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.